You ready? You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network. Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen, theys, and gays. This is the Real Pineapple. This is your humble host, Hunter, here. Happy Monday. Happy start to your week. Hopefully you get a 3-day weekend for, oh God, what's coming up? Labor Day. That's the one. Wait, it's Labor Day coming up, right? Now I'm thinking about it. Labor Day weekend. Okay, yes. Haha, I was right. Happy upcoming Labor Day weekend, everybody. So, hope you're having a good start to your week. Hope you're well. Hope you're safe. Hope you're healthy. This is your humble host, Hunter. Yeah, y'all. So, AEW All In was yesterday. It has come and gone, and man, I gotta say, what a hell of a show. We will talk about it here in a second, but man, I've got a lot of thoughts about All In. So we'll get to that here in a few. But with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and go through each match, talk about them a little bit, give my thoughts, and give a overall grade. But before I do that, I am gonna start off with Soapbox Corner. I wasn't gonna rant about this, but I'm gonna be real. It's been something that's kind of been it's been sticking in my craw a little bit. So I'm gonna talk about this. So, with that said, for those of you who are Rolling Stone readers, which I know I'm damn sure not at this point, but I want to pull this up. Actually, let me see. Where is it? No, not that one. I'll stay centered. Why not? Let's see. So if y'all know, if you all have been paying attention, The Acolyte, Disney's latest Star Wars show, was canceled after one season. To the surprise of some, but not to the surprise of everyone. But yeah, I haven't watched the show yet. I've heard definitely mixed things, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. I'm behind on a lot of TV, y'all. That is what I'm trying to catch up on over the next couple weeks. I will be watching a ton of TV. So, but with that said, one of the things, and I'll shout out the afternoon tune here because since I'm fucking on there all the time, it seems like one of their co-hosts, Dusk, and look, Dusk and I, we have definitely had our verbal jousts. And this isn't anything that I didn't say to him on the stream, so I'm not talking shit. I've made my opinion about this very apparent. But Dusk, I'm paraphrasing, but this is basically what he said. I didn't watch the show, but I saw a trailer and I read a couple reviews, and I know I wouldn't like it. So, as someone who's been a critic for almost a decade, that sort of thinking, that sort of logic is what's destroying film criticism. I fucking hate when I hear that shit or any sort of variation of, because what you're doing is you're basically assigning a grade without doing any of the fucking work. That's why you have audience verified reviews now on fucking Rotten Tomatoes, because so many people were just going on. And I use this example specifically. I saw several reviews about Sound of Freedom that weren't anything about the fucking movie. It was just like, oh well, this we must Reverend Lovejoy's wife. Will someone please think of the children? Like, that's all I was reading. People going like, oh, someone's finally thinking about those kids. Like, thank God, literally and figuratively. A+. Did you watch the movie? Well, no. And that's one of the reasons why we now have audience verified reviews, because so many people for pure flick shit were doing that shit. Just going, oh, it talks about God. No notes. I fucking hate that. And to be quite frank, it's insulting to me. It's insulting to the community that I'm a part of. and it's insulting the people like Nick over at the Afternoon Tune, like my homie Jamarco, who I will be linking his podcast in the description. He just started his own podcast. Everyone's a Critic. Jamarco does the music for the Real Pineapple. So shout out to Jamarco. It's an insult to Brandon, who comes on here quite often and gives his incredible opinion. It's an insult to Bradley Martin, Canada, who comes on. If you're gonna go ahead and review something, do the fucking work. I have never given a review on anything that I have not seen. I have friends that have talked about the fact that, oh, I might pirate this movie or da da da. And my whole thing is like, look, I want my reviews to be pure. Yeah, I do get I do get screeners sent to me. Obviously that's legal, but but there's a lot of stuff I don't get screeners for. So I'll pay the money and I'll go ahead and watch it. And it's not because it's because I want my reviews to not have any asterisks or anything next to them. I want my reviews to be able to stand solely on the content and solely on how I feel and the evidence that I provide for those reviews. Sex and the City, can't fucking stand that show. Samantha was fun, but I can't stand Sex and the City. But I watched the first like 3 seasons of it because I was like, I'm gonna give the show a fair shake because fair is fair, and I won't talk about shit about something that I have not invested time in. Now, when I say invest time, I'm not talking like an episode. I think every show for the most part deserves 2 seasons, because if you think about it, and a lot of people don't bring this up, that first season of The Office, not great. First season of Parks and Rec, not great. But they went ahead, they took the feedback, they retooled everything, and then you have really great sophomore seasons. Season 2 of Parks and Rec is definitely better than season 1. It's still not perfect, but they are definitely figuring shit out. Season 2 of The Office is still one of the best seasons of a sitcom I've ever seen. So I think it's only fair to give everything at least a season, if not 2, as far as if you're going to be like reviewing it or if you're trying to get a fair opinion of it. So I watched 2 seasons of Girls, that fucking Leah Dunham show, which God help me. I watched 2 seasons of that. I watched 3 seasons of Sex and the City. I've watched seasons of stuff that I don't like, just be able to have an informed opinion. So don't be that person. Don't be that person that goes, well, I saw a trailer and I just, trailers lie. I've said that at least a million times on this fucking podcast, that trailers are not gospel, and that thing, like, trailers will lie to you. By that logic, Terminator Salvation's one of the best sci-fi movies ever made, because that 9 Inch Nails trailer goes fucking hard in the paint. But I would never sit here and go, oh yeah, it's an A. Well, did you see it? No, I did. I just saw the review. I just saw, the trailer. So, don't come at me with that bullshit. And that's the point I was trying to bring up. Outside of that was the whole thing with the Acolyte is, yeah, it's a canceled Star Wars show. At the same time, Star Wars isn't going anywhere, but this gatekeeping is exhausting. And I say that as a huge Marvel fan, where I have people that I've interacted with who've gone like, oh, Marvel's not like how it used to be. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, because it's more diverse now. That's a good thing. But a lot of the correlation between bad reviews for things tend to come when it's got more people of color, more women in it, more LGBTQ representation. It's very interesting how those things seem to correlate. And then you have to hear the woke mob go, oh my God, look at what they're doing. They're forcing their values on us. Bullshit. So I don't want to hear this, oh, Star Wars wasn't how it was back in the day. Because if you go back and watch it, and I did watch it maybe 6 months ago, Return of the Jedi. All right, I'm going to piss a lot of people off with this, but it's true. Return of the Jedi, the gap between Return of the Jedi and Rise of Skywalker, that gap is not nearly as far as y'all want to admit. It's true. I know there are a couple Star Wars fans right now, like, grabbing their plastic lightsabers and, and wanting to come to Real Pineapple Studios. Sorry, y'all. It's true. Look, I've not rewatched Rise of Skywalker, but I still remember the fucking anger I felt leaving that theater and just going like, wow, how did you guys fuck this up so bad? Return of the Jedi only had 2 films worth of arc and everything to wrap up. Rise of Skywalker had what, 9? Or what, 6? 6? Yeah. Oh no, 9, 9, 9, 9. Or 8 films if you don't count that lot. Anyways, 8 films. I'll just say 8. But it's not a good film. And as a capper, it's even worse. So the people who are just on this hill, which I don't get, like, yes, I understand. Has Disney hit a home run with the property all the time? Absolutely not. No, I think I've talked about how I think The Last Jedi is absolute crap, but apparently I'm in the minority because I know a ton of people who like The Last Jedi, which is weird to me. But Rise of Skywalker, not a good film. Rogue One is one of the best Star Wars films that they've ever made. As a matter of fact, it's the second best Star Wars film that they've ever made. You get the Mandalorian. Mandalorian's fucking awesome. I haven't even watched Andor yet. I will get to that here probably maybe in the next month or so. But everyone I've talked to that has watched Andor has said that's one of the best Star Wars things that's ever been produced, video game, like in any medium. So all of this, Disney doom and gloom, like I get it. I get that there's a lot of shit you can give Disney shit for. Trust me, I get it. Their pay of their employees being one, but goddamn, just like the vitriol to the brand. Star Wars isn't going anywhere. Whether you like it or not, Star Wars is going nowhere. They will keep making Star Wars shit as long as they want to. Like, they will continue to make Star Wars shit. Trust me, it is not going anywhere. But what I would tell y'all is try to keep an open mind on this shit. That's all I'm saying. Like, I get it if you hate Disney. I understand. Corporations aren't your friends. But let's not act like things were so great before Disney was putting out Star Wars shit. Because Phantom Menace sucks. Attack of the Clones is Star Wars C-SPAN. And only like half of Revenge of the Sith actually works. So let's all calm down on this whole bullshit. Like, Disney's ruining your childhood. I had to hear people defend those fucking Transformers movies, so I don't even want to hear it from y'all. So let's calm down. Let's pump the brakes on Star Wars. But I would recommend y'all, if you haven't read it, read that Rolling Stone article, because the name of the article is "Can the Best of Star Wars Survive the Worst of Its Fans?" And it's the headline here: before Star Wars can have another successful show, some vocal parts of fandom have to reckon with what they really want out of the franchise. And that's the thing. I've said that about Marvel fans for years, where I don't think Marvel fans know what they fucking want. And I look, I've interacted with some very terrible fandoms: the Swifties, the Barbs, I don't even know what Miles Cyrus calls her fans. WWE fans, trust me. DC fans, Snyder Bros, Marvel fans. Look, I've gotten the smoke from a lot of people, a lot of different fandoms, but y'all know me. I don't fucking care because I think I'm right more often than not, and most people are wrong. But Star Wars fans have probably been one of, if not the most miserable fan bases I've interacted with. They just don't seem happy, like, ever, about anything. I've talked about how you need to move away from the Skywalkers. My God, do you need to move away from the Skywalkers? And yet, nah. I have some people still say they want to go back to that well. And I just, in order for the brand to grow, in order for things to improve, in order for things to get better, you need to let these creators take some fucking risks. That's why, you get a Jane Foster. That's why you get a Shuri's Black Panther. That's why you get a Kamala Khan. That's why you get a Miles Morales. Like, if the same character that keeps a mantle, the mantle's not going to grow. It's not going to gain prestige. And, same thing with Star Wars. This brand won't continue. You won't be able to develop the Force. You won't be able to get into like the cool shit, like the Knights of the Old Republic shit. Let these people take some fucking risks. It's okay. I promise. And if you don't like the new shit, the old shit is there for you to watch. And that's the other thing that no one ever brings up. If you don't like this new shit, watch the old shit. But don't gatekeep and deprive potential new fans just because you're not feeling the new shit. it's completely ignorant and it's fucked up on your part. All right. I I'm good. I'm good now. I'm good. Um, ah, fucking people. Anyways, so let me put down my soapbox now. So let's get to. Let me take a. Let me, you know, here. Let me take a drink real quick. Um, actually, I'm gonna. Yeah. Let's jump in. So AEW All In took place, as I mentioned, from Wembley Stadium last night. Um, Shout out to all my friends who were there. I have a lot of wrestling Twitter nerd friends that I was talking to about it last night, and it looked like they were having so much fun. And I'm just like, hell yeah! I'm happy that you were enjoying yourself and having fun. And yeah, that's what it's about at the end of the day. So, um, yeah, so I'm really happy for those people who were there and were able to enjoy it. But with that said, let's just jump in as far as the pre-show. So um, there were a couple matches on the pre-show, three matches actually on the pre-show. We had Tommy Billington, the Dynamite Kid, Kip Sabian, Rocky Romero, Kyle Fletcher, Leo Rush, Action Andretti, and Top Flight, Darius and Dante Martin. They went ahead and defeated Jay Lethal, Satnam Singh, Anthony Agogo, Arya Davari, Private Party, Jane Quinn, and the Dark Order. Really happy the Dark Order was able to make it to Wembley. I'm a huge fan of Alex Reynolds and John Silver. Really happy, and the Evil Uno, of course. Was really happy they were able to get on the card. They went ahead and they had a fun match. I like big matches like this just because they're fucking chaos. But at the end of the day, the faces got the win. Billington, Sabian, Romero, Fletcher, Rush, Andretti, and Top Flight got the win. Fun match. I'd give it a solid C plus. But I really enjoyed it. It's impossible to basically recap those matches just because of all the insanity. But I enjoyed it. So yeah, C plus for me. Moving on, we had Willow Nightingale and the Stone Pitbull Tomohiro Ishii from New Japan. I'm really happy he's working AEW more. I'm a huge fan of his. They went ahead and took on Chris Statlander and Stokely Hathaway. I won't spoil what Stokely Hathaway was wearing, but it was fucking wonderful. You can look up pictures of the outfit online, but it was a vibe. I'm a huge fan of Stokely Hathaway, and I've talked about Chris Statlander and her heel turn and how I thought that was like the best thing for her. I think her and Willow have had a really fun rivalry, and I think both women are going to go ahead and continue to elevate their stock. The spot I wanted to point out that I absolutely love is Statlander hit Ishii with a really stiff, nice form, and Ishii stumbles forward into Stokely Hathaway, who hit a spine buster. He hit a fucking spine buster on Ishii. It was fucking awesome. And one thing I love about Stokely Hathaway is that the storytelling he's able to do just with his facial expressions. And oh my god, like the look of genuine glee that he had on his face when he spine busted him, it was fucking awesome. I loved it. Ishii unfortunately immediately sat up, and so that didn't go well for Stokely. But in the end, Willow and Ishii got the win. So Willow gets to pick the stipulation for her match between her and Statlander for the CMLL Women's Championship. So curious to see what Willow will pick. It'd be cool if it was a lights out match or something hardcore. I'd love that just because Willow tends to really excel in hardcore matches from what we've seen in her history in AEW. So we'll see. I believe that match, I can't remember if that match is on Wednesday on Dynamite or if it's at All Out in Chicago in a couple weeks. I feel like it's All Out, but I could be wrong. So, but yeah, we'll have to stay tuned on that. And then the last match on the pre-show was the ROH tag team, 6-man tag team champions, Von Erichs, Marshall and Ross Von Erich, along with the natural Dustin Rhodes, Dustin two belts. Dustin Rhodes, just real quick. So I remember Dustin Rhodes from back when, of course, he was Gold Dust in WWF at the time. And it's crazy that the man is 55 years old, and is doing Canadian Destroyers and Code Reds and moving as crisply in the ring as I've seen him move. It's crazy how great he still looks. I give him all the credit in the world, and I'm happy for Dustin because, like, he went through his shit with his sobriety and everything, and had to conquer his demons. But what he's done in AEW has been grade A masterclass work. If you haven't watched the match between him and Cody at the original Double or Nothing, I highly recommend you do. It is an amazing gothic piece of Southern wrestling that's a match everyone should see. That's still in Cody's top 5 matches. Yeah, absolutely awesome though. Check it out if you have not had a chance yet. But yeah, really solid match of them versus oh yeah, I haven't mentioned everyone that was in the match. Fuck. But yeah, the Von Erichs, Marshall and Ross and Dustin Rhodes, Sammy Guevara and Katsuyori Shibata, who, God, Shibata, the wrestler, he's so great. They took on the Undisputed Kingdom's Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, and in the Cage of Agony. Oh, that name is so bad. It's almost good. But they took on the Cage of Agony, Brian Cage, Bishop Khan, and Toa Leona. So again, a clusterfuck of a match, but a lot of fun spots. Sammy Guevara and Dustin Rhodes, since they're Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, they had corresponding attires. So Dustin was dressed up in basically a Deadpool type attire, and Sammy Guevara was dressed up in Wolverine type attire. Looked clean, looked great. Love when tag teams coordinate like that. Sammy Guevara, I know he's had his issues in AEW. He talks a lot of shit. Apparently, he's gotten to like a backstage fight, or backstage altercation. I don't think it was technically a fight, but Sammy Guevara is one of the best out there as far as a high flyer. And he's young too. I don't think the guy is even 30 yet. But I do think that okay, he's 31. I do think him getting back, I think him going to Ring of Honor, kind of having a chance to almost reboot himself, I think it's going to be really good for him. And I would love to see Sammy Guevara versus Mark Briscoe at some point for the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship. I think that'd be an amazing match. But some really cool moments here. One of which Dustin. Everyone was outside the ring, and Dustin acted like he was going to run through the ropes and do a tope, dive out through the ropes, and he starts clapping. He gets the crowd all like hyped, and he just puts on the brakes, stops, and does that spin out kind of thing that Sammy Guevara does on the mat. That was really fun. But in the end, the Natural and Guevara hit a double team move, went ahead, got the pin. Again, good fucking match. Really happy for oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name. I feel so bad now. I've had a couple of mimosas. Did I mention that? Kevin Von Erich. That's what I was like. It's okay. I should know this, wrestling fan. But it was really cool to see Kevin Von Erich, given what the Von Erich family has gone through. Getting to see him walk Marshall and Ross Von Erich out to the ring in front of all those people. Wembley, there wasn't a official attendance count yet, but what I saw on WrestleTix as of like yesterday, it looked like it was at least 50,000 people. So it's at least 50,000, which is fucking nuts. Not bad for a t-shirt company, but to see them get walked out by him was a really cool fucking moment. So I'm really happy that they got that moment. But yeah, solid pre-show. And I don't know about y'all. Let me know in the comments because I'd actually be curious about this. Have y'all ever watched a pre-show that made you go, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna buy the show now"? Like, I know for myself, I feel like I'm pretty like set. Like, I know if I'm gonna order something, usually, before I start a pre-show. So I have all that to say. I haven't had a pre-show like convince me to buy the show. So I'd love to know if that's the case for y'all. So let me know because I think that'd be interesting to hear. But yeah, that brought us to the main card. So pardon me. The first match on the show was Pac, the Bastard Pack, and the Blackpool Combat Club, made up of Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta. Shout out to Claudio Castagnoli as well, by the way, who's had a great couple of years in AEW. Became Ring of Honor World Champion twice. Has wrestled New Japan, wrestled in the Tokyo Dome. Just won the CMLL Grand Prix. So he literally was in Arena Mexico like 2 days ago and then flew to Wembley to wrestle again. Like, that's fucking wild. Like, Claudio is a fucking beast. So shout out to Claudio Castagnoli. I've been a fan of his for a decade plus, and I just love the work he's doing. He does not look 43 years old. Really, what the fuck? But yeah, props to Claudio. He looked fucking great. And what I will say that's interesting is John Moxley. We haven't seen Moxley in, oh man, when's the last time we saw Moxley? Now I'm thinking about it. Forbidden Door? So that was what, June? So I mean, it's been a couple months since we've seen Moxley. I'll get to him later on in the review because I think there's a reason for that. But yeah, Blackpool Combat Club and Pac, they went ahead and took on the Patriarchy, Nick Wayne, the Prodigy, Kill Switch, and everyone's favorite father, Christian Cage, who are the AEW World Trios Champions, versus the Bang Bang Gang, Juice Robinson, Austin and Colton Gunn, and then the House of Black, Malachi Black, Brody King, and Buddy Matthews in a ladder match for the AEW World Trios titles. Again, another clusterfuck match, but you add tables, ladders, and chairs. Oh my. This was fucking fun. Nick Wayne hit a Wayne's World cutter to the outside on Buddy Matthews, which looked ridiculous. He ended up diving through the ropes and hitting a Canadian Destroyer on Malachi Black through a table. Again, fucking ridiculous. There was a great spot where Mother Wayne tried to get up on the ring apron and mace Juice Robinson, who went ahead and used the chair to block the mace, grabbed the mace out of her hands, maced her, and then acted like he was going to give her a pile driver through the table, but then ended up getting chokeslammed through a table by Kill Switch. That was a great fucking spot. But at the end of the day, the bastard Pac, he went ahead and pulled down the Trios Championships. So yeah, now Pac, he's not officially, at least not yet. Pardon me. He's not officially in the Blackpool Combat Club, but I think that's going to happen. And I think when Bryan Danielson does officially retire from full-time competition, I think he's a perfect person to go ahead and put in that spot, or someone else, which I will get to later on in the review. But really dug this match. I think I gave every show. So the bigger tag match, the one with Billington, Top Flight, that one, I'd give that match a C+. I'd give the Nightingale Ishii match, I'd give that a B-, and then I would give the Von Erich Guevara match, I'd give that a B-. So C+, B-, B-. This match I'd give a solid A- too. This was a train wreck. There was a ton of action, a lot of ladders being used, a lot of stiff spots. Brody King dove through the ropes. Brody King is like 300 pounds plus. I just love seeing that big man fly. The athleticism is fucking absurd to be able to do that in general, let alone someone that big. Yeah, this is a great fucking match and a really great way to kick off the official AEW card. Moving on, we had what was my second most anticipated match of the night? We had Timeless Tony Storm, who has not lost a match this year, taking on the winner of the Women's Own Heart Cup Invitational Tournament, the Glamour Mariah May. So first off, I think Timeless Tony Storm has been a fucking revelation. I've followed Tony Storm's career since her Stardom days. She's been a badass. I know some people are discovering her now, but she's been ugh, she's been an incredible wrestler for years now. Mariah May, the same thing. She went ahead and made the jump over from Stardom last year, and apparently they went ahead because they talked about it. I guess Tony Khan, RJ City, shout out to RJ City, fucking love that dude. I guess they went ahead and had the storyline worked out. Like they had a year's worth of storyline worked out, ready to go, and that's what this ended up building towards. This incredible betrayal of Mariah May on Tony Storm. There is a great promo package for this match, which I would highly recommend that you check out. There's actually multiple great promo packages for this match, including one narrated by Turner Classic Movies Ben Mendelwitz, which I would highly recommend you check out. But this had a big fight feel. Timeless Tony Storm had this very retro intro, to no one's surprise. Mariah May looked like an absolute bitch coming out, and I mean that as a compliment. She just had this snarl on her face, like she was ready to burn the world down. But multiple moments in this match that worked for me. It started off like a big old hockey fight, just beating the shit out of each other. Mariah May went to some dark places in this match, including slapping her own mother. She gave Nigel McGuinness a kiss. Nigel McGuinness, the commentator, Nigel, who is just fucking great on commentary and simps for Mariah May so much. But this was a great match. Tony Storm ended up busting Mariah May open, so Mariah May was legit like crying as blood streamed down her face, reminiscent of what she did to Tony Storm a couple weeks ago with the heel of her shoe. Great stuff back and forth. Luther was back to go ahead and walk Tony Storm to the ring. A couple very close near falls. May hit this one hip attack that looked like it snapped Tony's neck. The whiplash on it was fucking perfect. But at the end of the day, Tony Storm couldn't do what Mariah May could do. She couldn't hurt her as much as Mariah could hurt her. She had the shoe in her hand. She had the heel up to her forehead, and she couldn't do it. So Mariah took advantage, hit her own finishing move, hit Tony Storm's own move on her, that Storm Zero sit-out power driver, and got the win. It was a great fucking match. It makes Mariah look like a killer. It makes Tony look sympathetic. I don't know where Tony Storm goes from here. I wouldn't be mad if she took a break, just because she has been wrestling so much this year. I think a month off would actually do her wonders. So I'm pardon me. So I'm curious if she's going to get a little time off, but she's definitely deserves it. It feels like kind of the end of her for right now. Obviously she'll be back, but a great match with a great ending. So yeah, really dug that. With that said, continuing on, we had Hook, who I'm a huge fan of. He went ahead and went up against the Learning Tree, Chris Jericho, for the FTW Championship. So, all right, I haven't had a sip of my mimosa yet. Hang on. Oh, that's the stuff. So let me say this for Hook. I'm a huge fan of Hook. I think Hook is. I really like the partnership he has with like Shibata and Samoa Joe. I think the fact he's so young, yeah, I don't think he's. I don't know how old Hook is. Let's see. Let's see, wrestler. Yeah, Hook he's 25. Like Hook has a lot of potential, and I think Hook is going to end up being even better than fans realize right now. He's already got some suplexes down like a motherfucker. he'll get better at promos. He hasn't had a ton of time to talk, but he'll get better at promos. I do think the FTW championship is made for Hook as far as like his aura and his look. What I would like to see more though is like to see him challenging for more than just the FTW championship. I'd like to see him going for that international title. I'd like to see him going after that TNT championship. Quite frankly, I think him against the TNT champion, I'll get to that here in a bit. I think that's a match right there that you need to do, like potentially even as early as Wrestle Dream in October. But I'm a huge fan of Hook and Chris Jericho. Look, I will never say, how do I put this? Chris Jericho was incredibly important to the genesis of AEW. He was the first major star to really sign. Chris Jericho is known for multiple things. He's known for being a wrestler, a best-selling author, a frontman for a band. But I'll just simply say that in 2024, AEW just doesn't need Chris Jericho anymore. They've got Jon Moxley, they have Claudio, they have Will Ospreay, they have MJF. Like they don't need Chris Jericho anymore. I would honestly, if I'm Tony Khan, I let Jericho's contract expire whenever that is, and I give that money to Mina Shirakawa. I give that money to Rebecca Quinn, aka Becky Lynch, if you can get her to leave. Like I'm looking at other people to give that money to. Jericho, look, Jericho's 50, like he's in his 50s. I mean, he still does move around like well, but I just don't think he's putting on even close to the match quality. He's 53. I just don't think he's even close to the sort of output that he was even 18 months ago. The one bad match that Bryan Danielson has had in AEW was against Chris Jericho, which is insane to say. I just don't think that Jericho has it to be a full-time performer anymore. Now, let me be clear. My opinion might change too, because Jericho hasn't been off TV. Jericho's just been like, he's basically been on TV almost consistently since AEW was a thing. Like I haven't had a chance to miss Chris Jericho. Like, I think that's another part of it, why he's getting these please retire chants, because people are just over it. They just don't want to see him on TV anymore. I think if Jericho took 6 months off, I think that would do wonders for him and his body and everything. But man, I am over it. I'm just over seeing Jericho. I don't want to see him anymore. So yeah, he just needs to, yeah, come on, man. Just don't, But him and Hook had a good match. FTW rules, so anything goes. Jericho got his ass whipped with a cricket bat. That was really funny. Hook used that, put the cricket bat between his legs and hit a suplex with it. That was really cool. There was one point Jericho hit Hook with a trash can so fucking hard, I honestly thought he might have given him a concussion. He blasted the shit out of him. I was like, God damn. But the story here was Hook having to overcome Big Bill and the Bad Apple, Brian Keith, and he was able to. He put Big Bill through a table wrapped in barbed wire. That was fucking great. Went ahead and clothesline Brian Keith. And the finish of this match I thought was fucking awesome, where Jericho got caught in the red rum and Taz got up from his announced position at the announcer's table and put the Taz mission on Brian Keith. So both men got choked out. Jericho tapped, which is huge. Jericho tapping for Hook. That's wild. And so Hook is a 3-time FTW champion. So yeah, I don't think you need to retire the FTW championship. I think the FTW title looks great on Hook, but it is time to go ahead and get Hook involved with some more high profile feuds, so we can go ahead and continue to build him up so the FTW title is elevated and it's not a hindrance to Hook. But yeah, this match, I'd give it actually a solid, I should go B- on this, which I was shocked by. Moving on, we had the Young Bucks, Matthew Nicholas Jackson, dressed in Beatles-esque attire. which was great. Versus FTR, versus the Acclaimed, Anthony Bowens and Max Caster, for the AEW World Tag Team Championship. So, uh, this has been probably my biggest knock on AEW recently. Is AEW really needs to go ahead and get the tag team division figured out, because I think through the growth of the trios division, the tag division has suffered. Um, it looks like they brought in grizzled young veterans, which is great. But I would love to see some other tag teams. I'd love to see Malachi Black go after singles gold, and let's get Brody King and Buddy Matthews. Let's get them in the tag team division. Um, God, I'd love to see. Oh my gosh, I'm totally blanking. But yeah, we need more tag teams in AEW. So let's go ahead. Come on, TK. Let's go ahead and build that division back up. But I thought this match was great. A lot of fun action, a lot of quick stuff. FTR being the technicians they are. They could have a great match with the Young Bucks in their sleep. I thought the addition of the Acclaimed was actually very pardon me. I thought it was very timely, and I thought it worked really well. Max Caster, I know that man is a lightning rod, and not everyone is a fan of his. I go back and forth myself personally, but I thought his rap before the match was actually pretty fucking great. But yeah, this shit was fun though. At the end of the day, it definitely ramped up. There was a spot where the Acclaimed and FTR did each other's finishing moves on the Young Bucks. That was a really cool spot. But at the end of the day, the Young Bucks hit the EVP trigger and retained the tag titles. So here's my frustration with this match. I think the Young Bucks using the whole EVP thing and being heels, being bad guys, I think it makes a ton of sense. But they won those titles back in like May, June, July. Oh no, back in like April, they won the tag titles, and they've defended them like twice. I understand that they're heels, so it makes sense they're not giving a tag title shot. Pardon me, like every week or something. But they gotta defend the fucking titles more than that. But now that it's not FTR, that's not the Acclaimed. I'd love it to be the House of Black. I'd love the House of Black to become tag champs. I think the patriarchy, like you could have them, dip their toes in the tag division as well. Bullet Club Gold is still there. So, I mean, you do have options. But at the end of the day, this was a really solid tag match that I really enjoyed in the back half especially. So I'd probably go B. I'd probably go B on this match. So, yeah, really dug this match, though. It was fun. All right, moving on. The Casino Gauntlet match. I won't even go through all the people in here, but there were some great surprises, including fucking Nigel McGuinness for the first time in over, oh my god, like 16 years wrestled. And he got to exchange holds with Zack Sabre Jr., who was another surprise. That fucking ruled. We had the debuting Ricochet. Ricochet makes his AEW debut. Ricochet is officially all elite. Had a great sequence of Hangman Page, hit the springboard, shooting star press to the outside, wiping out the field. That was great. Mark Briscoe using a chair to do a somersault plancha onto the field on the outside of the ring. That was great. Okada started the match against Orange Cassidy. Goes to hug him because for you New Japan nerds, they were members in Chaos together. And the way that Okada, once he hugged him, just had this look on his face like, oh, I'm going to fuck you over. It was fucking great. It was fucking awesome. There were a lot of great stories being told here. Hangman Page, his obsession with trying to win this match to become the AEW World Champion just to get the belt away from Swerve, that was very prominent. Kyle O'Reilly and and Roderick Strong, they're back and forth. Jarrett hitting Hangman Page with a guitar after Hangman talked all this shit about Jarrett's wife and grabbed her during this match. There's so much to like about this and so much to enjoy. Christian Cage ends up winning. Very kind of reminiscent of when Jericho won the World Heavyweight title at I can't remember the pay-per-view, but Unforgiven, I think that's what it was. For those of you who don't remember, back in, I think that would have been, God, I don't even know what year that would have been, but Chris Jericho, I think it was like 2010, but Jericho was in a match against Shawn Michaels, a non-sanctioned match, got his ass whipped, and then basically stumbled out later on that night in the main event and essentially stole a pin and became the new world heavyweight champion. That is basically what Christian did here. He let everyone kind of do the work and beat the shit out of each other. Luchasaurus showed up, acted like he was going to choke slam Christian, and then went ahead and choke slam Kyle O'Reilly, threw Christian on top, and Christian Cage is your new number one contender. He can cash that Casino Battle Royal contract in whenever he wants. So my biggest bummer on this was I just like they need to pull the trigger at some point on Luchasaurus, and I think we're at that point. Having him come out as Luchasaurus, because they announced his name as Luchasaurus, not Killswitch. They went ahead and announced it as Luchasaurus, and the fact that he still caves and stays with Christian Cage, I was disappointed in that. So yeah, AEW, we're either going to pull that trigger or not, but we got to decide what we're going to do. So, but the match itself was fucking fantastic. Yeah, we got Nigel against not Osprey. We got Nigel against Zack Sabre. We got Nigel against the Omega. Like they're or not Omega. Oh my gosh, Nigel against other people. I'm totally drawing a blank, y'all. But it was good stuff. It was a really, really great match. Ending aside, and like I said, I'm not even too mad at the ending just because Christian's whole thing is talking shit about people's parents. And unfortunately, Brian's dad did pass. So I could easily see Christian Cage versus Bryan Danielson being the all-in main event. So, but yeah, solid A. Even with my complaints, I thought this match was fucking great. Moving on, Will Ospreay, the aerial assassin, takes on MJF for the AEW American title. So Will Ospreay, I'm not even going to try to replicate or talk about it, but he had this Assassin's Creed entrance that was so fucking cool. I was like, holy shit. Ugh. Will Ospreay just gets wrestling, man, and he came across like the absolute star that he is. Last year I was fucking impressed. I thought he not carried Jericho. That's a little unfair, but he elevated, pun intended, Jericho in a way that I think a lot of people weren't expecting. It showed how great Will Ospreay really is. So I thought that match last year was probably like a B plus. Maybe even A minus, because it is a really good match. MJF came out basically dressed like Apollo Creed, but then had on Lex Luger trunks and then a very Lex Luger esque pair of like Speedo / wrestling trunks that he wrestled in. MJF's whole American gimmick has actually been working for me because it's borderline, it's very Trumpy, but also like he's playing it in this way that he's so full of shit, he's full of shit. It actually has worked for me, but we'll see if that persona continues after this match. They just had a nearly 60-minute match a couple weeks ago, so I will be the first to admit I was a little worried that it wouldn't live up to that, and it did. The match itself was really hard hitting. Some great twists and turns. MJF talked about the fact that his dynamite diamond ring, a weapon he's used multiple times to go ahead and win matches, was stolen from him. He tweeted that out and talked about what a disgusting country England is, which I won't lie, that did pop me. I did laugh at that. But at the end of the day, Will Ospreay was able to hit the Hidden Blade, which looked fucking brutal, as the Hidden Blade often does. And then he goes ahead, picks MJF up, looks around, clutches his hands around his waist and slowly but surely delivers the Tiger Driver 97, which I was shocked. I was actually shocked he delivered it. But it was enough to keep MJF down. And Will Ospreay is your new AEW International Champion. I could see a world that there's a rematch, maybe 2 out of 3 falls between him and MJF at All Out. But this might be the end of the feud for now. But we'll see. All right, on to the women's TBS Championship match: Mercedes Moné versus Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Okay, so I don't have a ton to say about this match. Mercedes ended up winning the matchup with this, pardon me, huge power slam, or the Money Maker. Pardon me. Goes ahead and hits that, gets the win, retains. But this is a bigger conversation we need to have. Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, she's been back for like 6 weeks, I'd say, something like that. But she recently came back from injury and from this illness, which you can look up what happened there. But here's what really frustrated me about this match is I thought so you know what, man? I actually like the Money Maker. I wish she would do the bank statement more. Actually, I'm gonna type that. Let's see. I wish she'd use the bank statement more. Yeah, so I do hope she does that. I would like to see Mercedes Moné use that crossface bank statement a little more. Outside of just the Money Maker. But we need to have a conversation about Dr. Britt Baker. So I know she just came back. I know she's only been back like 6-7 weeks. She looks rough in the ring right now. She looks rusty. She looks, quite frankly, uninspired. It looks like a bad version of Ty Conti's finisher. Yeah, I can see that. Actually, like I will say Conti hits her finisher of more impact. Yeah, y'all, we gotta have this conversation about Britt Baker. She just looks slow. She looks uninspired. I found it very interesting because I forgot to mention this in the pre-show, but Jamie Hayter made her return yesterday, which was fucking great. Shout out to Jamie Hayter, that goddess of a woman. She's been out for over a year, and I'm so happy that she's back. I think she injects the women's division with even more talent, which is crazy because the women's roster on AEW is fucking nuts right now. But I kind of feeling the same way about Baker that I'm feeling about Jericho, in the sense of Baker was an early star of this women's division. She really was the women's division when AEW started. Jamie Hayter, I can't wait for her to get that belt back. I think her Mariah May, I think that's your Revolution match. I think that's your Revolution women's match right there. And I'll be real, I don't know if I put Hayter over at Revolution. I might have May actually get the win and maybe have Hayter get it back at Double or Nothing. Actually, that's probably what I do. I think I actually have May hold on to the title from now to Double or Nothing. So it's just short of a year, like a couple months short, like 10-month reign. So yeah, I think I would do that actually. Because then you could free her up for Forbidden Door. And what I would do is I would do Mina versus Mariah at Wembley next year. That's what I would do. Oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, we have to have this conversation about Britt Baker. She's kind of in that same place that I'm feeling for Jericho, where I'm like, where does she go from here? Does she take some time off? Because I'll be real, y'all. Maybe she takes some time off. Honestly, maybe ever go to Japan. Maybe you do that. Like Anna Jay, who's another AEW wrestler. She just did a tour of Japan. Apparently, she killed it. I saw a couple of the matches. She looked great. I mean, she always looks great, but she looked great ring wise, and I think she's gonna bring a new intensity back to the States when she gets back. But I wonder about Britt. Now it could be ring rust, and I fully acknowledge it could just be ring rust. But at the same time, I do think that I do think that's a conversation that needs to be had. I think if I have to bring this up, it sounds like they broke up too. Britt Baker was dating Adam Cole for like ever, for like almost like a decade, I want to say, if not longer. But they've both been very interestingly missing from each other's socials. So it sounds like there is a breakup going on there, or that they've broken up. But I do think that Britt Baker, yeah, Athena versus Hater, pretty much Hater versus everyone at this point. Once Julia Hart gets back, I think we need to introduce women's tag titles. I think you give them the Sky Blue and Julia Hart once they're both healthy. But yeah, Athena versus Hater, that's a money match right there. But I do think that Britt Baker, I think if she's not looking better in the ring by October, I do think we might need to have an uncomfortable conversation about if she is destined to stay in AEW. But I digress. And here's the thing. She made some points about the WWE Performance Center, stuff that I've said about the Performance Center, about how everyone's trained the same and you can't train every fucking wrestler the same because it's stupid. Because, you know, you have big men in there, you have big women there, you have cruiserweights. Like, I think it's fucking ridiculous the way that they kind of treat the Performance Center. I think they should actually have it catered to different styles. And honestly, like, Baker's a great promo. She's always been a great promo. She might do better in WWE. And I'm not even trying to say that as a knock, but she just might fit better in WWE or TNA. TNA has a great knockouts division. I think that gets lost in the shuffle. But considering I think Jordan Grace, like, I would pretty much bet money she's going to WWE once her contract is up I think it's up in January. Maybe that's the move for Baker. But yeah, I gotta see some improvement from Baker. I feel like she looked, I think Mercedes, props to Mercedes, because I think she carried her through a very rough match for that first half. I think the second half of the match did pick up. Match was about 15 minutes. The first like 8 minutes, I was like, okay, this is fine, I guess. But then that back half really did pick up. So I'd go B- on that match personally. But it's a really bad look for Baker, because on the biggest stage of AEW, she didn't quite lay an egg, but she was not on Mercedes level. And Mercedes had a great match against Willow. She had a great match with Stephanie Van Kerr. She had a great match against Sheeta a couple weeks ago. And the match she had with Sheeta on free TV was better than the one she had against Baker. Like, you can't do that. And Sheeta, Hikaru Shida, man, that's a woman. I mean, God, holy Shida, fucking love Hikaru Shida. I think a heel Shida is going to do a lot more for me than face Baker is right now. So I think you need to get Baker heel sooner than later, to be honest, because I just don't think, I've never really liked Baker as a heel or as a face. Yeah, but it was not a good day at the office for Baker. And yeah, I get it, it happens, but man, to kind of have that bad of a night in that moment, that's not the time you need to have it. Moving on, coffin match, the Scapegoat, Jack Perry versus Darby Allin in a coffin match for the AEW, for the TNT championship. I'm gonna make this one just real quick, just because I want to get to the main event. Great fucking match. Great fucking match. It was violent. It was brutal. It didn't overstay its welcome. Plus, Sting came out to make the save when they were going to go ahead and set Darby on fire. So, yeah, A- for me. Dug the match a lot. Now I don't think I rated that Will Ospreay MJF match. That's an A+ for me. I fucking love that match. I thought that match was great. So yeah, but definitely check out the Coffin match because it was just fun. Yeah. So, but yeah, solid A- for me. All right. So now we have our main event. The American Dragon, Bryan Danielson versus Swerve Strickland for the AEW Championship. A match that I thought this match would be good. I thought this match would be great. I didn't know what to expect going to this match. So I've talked about it before for years, and I mean for years, probably up until maybe 10 years ago. It was locked in my head. Shawn Michaels is the greatest of all time. Top to bottom, no one's touching Shawn Michaels. And then I started watching more Bryan Danielson. And like I've watched Bryan Danielson since Ring of Honor originally. Like I've watched Danielson for years. But this second career that Danielson has had, the second run after having to retire and then coming back, in that second run he had in WWE, having great matches with AJ Styles, having great matches with Cesaro, Claudio Castagnoli at the time, having great matches with Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. He put Roman Reigns over like a motherfucker, which is not talked about nearly enough. The Planet's Champion stuff that he was doing, where he had the eco-friendly World Heavyweight Championship. He made Kofi Kingston look like $1 million. That's still the best match Kofi's ever had. Amazing. Danielson is an amazing wrestler. And then you look at what he's done in AEW. The match against Kenny Omega that went to a 30-minute draw. The matches with Hangman Page. The Continental Classic run. The matches against Eddie Kingston. The matches against Jon Moxley. The 60-minute Iron Man match versus MJF, which is the greatest Iron Man match I have personally ever seen in my life. The match against Will Ospreay, which was fucking amazing. It is maybe the best match I've seen in my life. I've rewatched that match from Dynasty 12 times easy since it originally aired. Shout out to you, Curvin. Absolutely. I love AEW. I love just pay-per-views. I love wrestling in general. But man, that is the one thing about being in the States when like it's like 10 o'clock and you're like, fuck, I have to work the next day. Not me because I'm unemployed right now still, but that is the thing. Like it was so nice looking at the clock and being like, oh shit, it's 3:00 p.m. Hell yeah, I still have the rest of the day to to go ahead and do shit. And then Swerve Strickland, ever since he beat Samoa Joe for the title at Dynasty, the match he had at Double or Nothing against Christian Cage, I think that's a horribly underrated match. That might make my match of the year's list. I love that match against Christian Cage, but that match that he had, the matches that he's had with Hangman, the matches, his performance in the Continental Classic, the absolute banger that he had on Collision against Claudio Castagnoli for the AEW Championship. That match was incredible. Swerve has just been on another level. Ever since he's hit AEW, he like even when it was Swerve in Our Glory and he had the tag title run, he was great there. Swerve has been that dude, and it's so crazy that. And this is why you don't want a monopoly. This is why you don't want WWE to be the only fucking company in town. Because if that's the case, we don't get this. We don't get the Swerve Strickland. We don't get this incredible bump for Prince Nana for as much work as he's put in for years in the industry. I'm so happy Nana is getting his flowers too. They work so well off each other, Swerve and Nana. And having DJ Woo Kid and Bun B do the do the big pressure mix and accompany Swerve to the ring, Swerve carries himself like a star. That's another thing that I've always loved about Swerve. That's what I love about Roman Reigns, honestly. Did they give Roman Reigns a title for way too long? Absolutely. They should have ended that shit last year. But one thing you can never say about Roman Reigns is he doesn't come across like a star. And considering how badly Vince McMahon butchered Roman Reigns. For you WWE fans, Vince McMahon was the one writing Roman Reigns promos for the longest time. He's the one who made him say "suffering succotash." Yeah, that. And sad thing is, that's not the worst thing Vince McMahon has done. like, oh my god, like people need to understand how buried WWE had Roman Reigns, and the fact that Roman Reigns was able to pull the 180 he was and become the tribal chief and become the great wrestler he's been. While I'm not, like, because I see some people going like Roman Reigns is a goat. Like, let's calm down. But holy fuck, like, you want to talk about a man who like improved his stock, has become a better wrestler. Fuck yeah, love Roman Reigns for that. I will always give him props for that. Yeah, so I'm very happy. I'm very happy for him on that front. With that said, Swerve came out like a star. Bryan Danielson coming out to the final countdown. I think Tony Khan said that's like $100,000 every time you play it, which holy shit. To have that sort of money, just throw away, like, God, that must be nice. But I love that fucking song. It fits Danielson so well. But the promos leading up to this match were fucking fantastic. Swerve talking about how, he's going to make sure Bryan Danielson's like a stay-at-home father, and he's going to, send him home to his kids permanently. And that if he wanted to try to go to Mexico because he was getting that itch and wrestle under a mask, that he'd go to Mexico and kick his ass. Like Swerve was on another level on these promos. And both these guys being from the Pacific Northwest, both these guys being from the Washington area, to go ahead and have this huge match on this grand stage was great to watch. I bought stuff yesterday because I was going to do like breakfast tacos and mimosas yesterday. And I was so nervous. I was so scared watching that fucking main event. I didn't even eat or drink anything. So, I don't even know how to recap this match. So I'm going to do the best I can. But Bryan came out to a hero's welcome. Everyone in that arena is saying it's the final countdown. Fucking goosebumps. He goes out and hugs Brie Danielson, hugs his son, hugs his daughter, Birdie. They were there front row. Absolutely adorable, absolutely sweet. The turning point in the match early on, at least, was Swerve had Danielson up on his shoulders. Nana was able to distract the ref, and Danielson got driven skull first on the ring bell by Swerve, who hit a Death Valley driver, busted Danielson open like a motherfucker. He was bleeding like a stuffed pig. And that's where Swerve took over. Went ahead, jumped on the middle rope, hit that uppercut in the back of the neck that he does that dance, which I love when Swerve does that. Swerve just has the drip that Swerve has is just next level. I fucking love Swerve. But one of the moments in the match so I won't post the picture because if you follow me on Twitter, it's up there. But I was weeping watching this match because I was so goddamn scared that Danielson's gonna lose. Because look, like I hate to an extent how selfless Danielson is. Because Danielson, that's been kind of his thing in AEW. He's lost a lot of big matches. He just, he lost the Anarchy in the Arena match this past May at Double or Nothing. He let Jack Perry beat him with his own move, hit him with that running knee. He lost that match. He lost to MJF back in February at Revolution in that Iron Man match. Lost that match. He lost to Hangman. when at winter is coming for the AEW championship. Like Danielson has put over a ton of people, and so there was that voice in the back of my head going, "Oh shit, he could actually fucking lose this." The moment for me that I just lost my mind and I just started weeping, and I mean weeping, is there's this point where Swerve was kicking Danielson in the chest, and Danielson's looking this way, and he's looking towards his family. He's looking towards he's looking towards Bree, he's looking towards the kids, and he just starts yelling. He's like, "I love you," but he's like, I love you all so much. I thank you for support." Like he just starts yelling at them as Swerve is kicking him. And you see the kicks are having no effect, and you see the crowd getting their feet. And I was like, and I'm sitting in my room crying, screaming, losing my mind. Samuel L. Katzen, who you see in the chair back there, he's staring at me like, "Dad, what is going on?" And and Danielson slapped Swerve so hard he almost slapped the dreads off him. He slapped Swerve so goddamn hard. I actually had to pause the match because it caught me so off guard. He slapped the shit out of him. It's one of the best slaps I've ever seen in my life. I was like, God damn. But then he slapped him like 2 or 3 more times, and those slaps were just as good. Fucking great. There was a moment earlier in the match where, for those of you who are Bryan Danielson fans, he he gets whipped into the corner. He typically like runs up the ropes, does a backflip, runs the ropes. Guy tries to clothesline him. Bryan ducks under it, hits a forearm, or hits a running elbow. And he went to go hit the running elbow. Swerve did a front roll and caught him with a flatliner. That was fucking gorgeous. Like Swerve made it look so fucking effortless, as he makes most things look. So Swerve goes for the rolling flatliner again, and Danielson hits him perfectly mid transition with the Busaiku knee, which just looked perfect. But in the end, Danielson was able to go ahead, get the label locked in. Swerve was able to break the grip, so Danielson went underneath his arm, went underneath his neck and hooked it, almost similar to like a Rings of Saturn. And Swerve tapped out, and Bryan Danielson is the new AEW champion in what is an absolute match of the year candidate. It's another feather in the cap of who is, in my opinion, the greatest wrestler in the history of the sport. Bryan Danielson, sir. I'm wearing, I broke this shirt in today. I've had this in my closet for the last month, and I was like, I'm gonna wear it when this motherfucker wins a championship. And I've literally not worn this before today for this, and I'm so happy for Bryan Danielson. I'm so happy for his family. The intro promo package that they gave Danielson was fucking great. Curvin here in the chat said this is why AEW does something better over WWE 0-hour kickoff show that has matches, but with WWE no matches kickoff show. And I agree. Like, one thing I like that WWE used to do is that they would do like the Sunday Night Heat pre-shows, and they would kind of have like breaking news and stuff like that happen right before the show, and they would have some storylines from that bleed into the actual pay-per-view. I wish WWE would get back to that and wasn't just analysis. Like, I would like to see some fucking matches. I mean, as big as that roster is, there's no fucking excuse for them to not have a match or two on the pre-show. But I've seen people making this comparison, and I didn't want to get involved in the discourse, but fuck it, I'll get involved. So I know some people are saying like, oh, this is just a less good version of Cody Rhodes winning the championship at WrestleMania this past year, WrestleMania 40. Here's the thing. For me, Cody should have won last year. It was time for him to win last year. Actually, I think it made Cody look weaker, that he needed all these fucking retired people to come and help him out. I actually hate that. I actually don't like that aspect of the match at all, personally. I get all the smoke and mirrors and the fun with the bloodline rules and all that, but For me, that didn't personally work. Last year's match, I think, just from the standpoint, is a better match. Um, yeah, I thought having Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn neutralize the Usos last year. If you have, I don't know, if you have Cena come back and beat up Solo just because Solo laid out Cena last year, I think that's all you needed. I don't think you needed the Undertaker and the Rock and all this shit. Like, I just don't think you needed all of that. Um, as spectacle, does it work? Sure, but for the match itself, it didn't work for me. I think this is a better match because you have the title versus career element. The stakes couldn't be higher. There is a point where Swerve dragged Brian Danielson out to the ring after he busted him open on the ring bell, and so he has his arms like this, like Brian's on his back, so he has his arms by the wrists, and he looks right at Birdie. He's looking right at Danielson's family and just starts stomping his face in. You just see his kids like crying. You're like, Jesus Christ! Like, Swerve played a brilliant heel in this match, and Swerve has no soul. It's all about winning for him, which I love. I actually love that kind of tweener aspect of Swerve. But even though Swerve had the title for just under 5 months, he had an incredible reign. Not every reign needs to be a year or 4 years. Like, they really don't. As a matter of fact, reigns lose momentum that way. But as a black man, I'm so proud of Swerve. I'm so happy that he got this big moment because he's earned it. And with someone like Mox being gone, I'm really happy he got this time. Like, I'm so proud of Swerve. I'm so proud of everything he's been doing. And this match was fucking excellent. It's an A plus plus, the highest degree. So yeah, my final grade for the show, looking at last year's AEW card, I did like this show better because there weren't as many, like, there was a Stadium Stampede match last year. There was like a 6-man tag. Will Ospreay versus Jericho. CM Punk, Samoa Joe. There was a 4-way for the women's title last year. It was Sheeta, Storm, Saraya, Dr. Britt Baker. And then, MJF versus Adam Cole for the world title. What was a great match, but for me, I just like this card better. There are more personal feuds and less multi-man. So I'd give this a solid A-. I really enjoyed this. I think I gave last year's show a B+, if memory serves, but I really enjoyed this show. I thought this show was fucking awesome. So definitely check it out if you haven't. To all my Twitter friends who were there in person, I envy you so much, and I'm very happy that y'all had fun. All In this next year is going to be in Arlington, Texas. I haven't been to Texas in a minute. I lived there for years. I was there for almost a decade. So think I'm going to need to make a good old trip out to Texas because I want to see an AEW show, and I have not yet. So, but this was an excellent show. This was a great celebration of AEW and what they've been able to accomplish. I'm very excited for Dynamite on Wednesday. I will have a Dynamite review, by the way, Wednesday night. I don't know if I'm going to do it as a live watch along. I might do that, but I'm really happy. I'm really happy with the show. I'm really happy with how things turned out, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see where we're heading with Danielson as world champ and Mariah May as women's champ. So yeah, let's get it. And Tony Khan, thank you. Tony Khan, thank you to the production team. Thank you to Jim Ross and Taz and Tony Schiavone and Excalibur, to RJ City, Renee Paquette, like all the men and women, all the people who go ahead and make that company what it is. Thank you for giving me my love of wrestling back. And yeah, it was a great fucking show. But yeah, y'all, tomorrow I'm going to be streaming. What am I streaming tomorrow? Oh yeah, I'm going to be on tomorrow with Brandon and Bradley. Shout out to them. We're going to be on talking about Machete Kills, and then Tales of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Going to be reviewing those three. I am going to also be reviewing The Crow, which, God help me, I don't want to see it tomorrow, but it's $5 movie Tuesday, so I will go. So I will be watching that as well, and have a review up for y'all. Before I get out of here, I actually, actually let me switch, things here. I want to present. Hang on. Da, 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 okay, so I was lucky enough to actually go ahead and conduct an interview last week, which was an absolute blast. But I got a chance to talk to Aaron Moriarty and Stuart Gatz about their latest film, Catching Dust. Which, if you have not checked that out, that's in theaters and on VOD. So definitely check that out. Of course, Aaron Moriarty from The Boys, and from Jessica Jones, and then Stuart Gatt is a first-time director. So that's a name you're gonna want to write down, like put a red dot next to, and be like, okay, this motherfucker is gonna be huge in like 5 years. Like he's gonna get in his horror bag, and it is gonna be transcendent. Like, I'm telling y'all, Stuart Gatt, like, watch out for him. Oh, dude, JD, I love Ninja Turtles, man. Oh yeah, I love me some Ninja Turtles. I haven't gotten to a point where I'm streaming games yet, but I'm gonna end up streaming Shredder's Revenge. I don't know if you but the same company, or like kind of like an adjacent company that did Shredder's Revenge, they're doing a G.I. Joe beat 'em up and a Power Ranger beat 'em up. Both those should be out by the end of the year. So if you don't know about either of those games, look up those trailers, because they're fucking awesome. But yeah, I got to talk to fucking Erin Moriarty, and she was so fucking nice, and she was so fucking cool, and the movie's great. So I was like, hell yeah. So definitely check out that interview. You can check out the audio pretty much wherever you listen to podcasts, and you can check out the video version of it there on the YouTube channel I just showed y'all. You can just search The Real Pineapple on YouTube if you didn't see it. That's REEL Pineapple, by the way. Yeah, as far as the rest of the week, gonna have got my review up right now for that film, Catching Dust, and the aforementioned interview. Tomorrow I'll be streaming, and then I'll be streaming on Wednesday. So yeah, I guess I'm streaming the next couple days. I'm ready for Last Rodent game too. Yeah, that's gonna be, yeah. That's on my that's on my radar. Yeah, I'm excited for that too. As far as a game that I might stream, I am gonna stream, like, it's gonna be next year. So I mean, but fuck, I can bring it up now. That Ultra Pro Wrestling game, I'm really excited for that. Shout out to the developers there. I'm gonna definitely be streaming that. Do some wrestling commentary with my matches. But I definitely want to stream that. As far as stuff right now, I did just buy RoboCop Rogue City, so I might stream that. Yeah, I might end up streaming. There's a couple games I might end up streaming, but I am gonna probably stream Undisputed, that boxing game that comes out in October, because I got I was playing through the beta on that, and I've been really enjoying myself. So I think I am gonna probably end up streaming that, but we will slowly be moving more to into streaming games, as well as me just talking to y'all. But yeah, as I mentioned, that Catching Dust interview is up on all the channels now. My review for it is up on the channel now as well. You can go ahead and like, share, subscribe, and rate the podcast. It definitely helps me out. If you're subscribed to me on YouTube, hit the bell so you know when reviews are live and when I'm going live. Yeah, JD, it's called Undisputed, is the name of the game, is the name of the boxing game. So yeah, check that out, because it's good stuff. But yeah, y'all are gonna have those reviews, those streams and reviews coming out in the next couple days. I am gonna be out of town as of Friday until early next week, so there won't be any streams, but I'll have some pre-recorded stuff dropping for y'all, so don't worry. So yeah, I will have some stuff up for y'all this week. But everyone, thank you so much for joining the chat and for watching this live. Shout out to Curvin and JD who are in the chat. Appreciate y'all stopping by. For those of you who are watching this not live, thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Take care of each other. Give someone a hug. Give someone a compliment. We could all use some more positivity. And never forget, as always, to keep it real. Thanks again, y'all. I'll talk to you soon.